Mr. Vincent, members of the faculty, parents, students, and friends of Sthfld School. Hop on board, close the hatch, light the burners, and blast off with us on a journey to the moon. Rocket ships are fast, but without stopping, it will take us about 2.5 days to reach the moon.
On board the rocket ship, our bodies are firmly pressed against the seats. We might feel very heavy, but soon this feeling will disappear. We will fly through clouds, dust, and air for about 15 miles. Before we know it, we are in space.
Space is dark and empty. There is no air, rain, or clouds. There are a few specks of dust, meteors, and comets. The stars in space shine like a million fireflies, and the moon sparkles like a pearl in the black sky. Take off your seatbelt and be amazed at your weightless body. Floating like a feather, you will bounce off the walls of the ship. Even your favorite book will float before your eyes. If you spill juice, it will look like gumballs hovering in mid-air. Billions of years ago, when the moon was very hard, melted stone spilled like milk over the moon. It cooled and hardened into stone called lava. Dark areas formed and looked like wide fields. They are called the seas of the moon. From Earth, these dark areas make the moon look like a face. Before leaving a rocket ship, an astronaut must put on a space suit and air tank. Without that special suit, explorers would be blistering hot in the sun and freezing cold in the shadows. There are no clouds to shield an astronaut from the heat of the sun or the cold of space. The moon is a dead world. It is lifeless and colorless. It is impossible to make a sound on the moon. If a Sthfld girl were to sing on the moon, the music would not be heard. There is no air to carry sound waves. In fact, the silence and stillness can be quite eerie. Walking on the moon feels like the setting of a fairy tale. Tall boulders and hills have strange shapes. A heap of jagged rocks may look like a ruined castle, and some hills resemble the crown of a princess. It would take weeks of walking cross over some of the mountains.
The moon does not have any light of its own. It reflects light from the sun like a mirror reflects an image. Every 4 weeks, the moon goes around the earth. During its trip, different parts of the moon reflect sunlight toward earth. That is why the moon appears to change shape.
Can you imagine having recess in the dark? The moon has long days and nights. There are 2 weeks of daylight, then 2 weeks of darkness. That would mean our March break could be spent entirely in
matter what part of it's showing, you're going to be realizing you know a little bit more than you used to know about that shiny, friendly face up in the sky. Well done, ladies. We have two teachers we want to thank this morning for helping the girls with our wonderful mural. We want to thank Ms. Oates. For researching, writing, and directing all of the girls, we thank Mrs. Monahan and Ms. Sthfld. And we are glad that all of you friends and relatives and family and students could come this morning to join us. We do ask you to remain seated until everyone has left the hall, and if you care to, we do have refreshments outside of the hall, some coffee and tea for those of you who are able to stay. Thank you again, and let's conclude with one last round of applause for the performance.